class trying to seek Islamic knowledge in the West. The avenues open to people have been limited and ill-favouring those seeking to balance secular learning with increasing their understanding of the religion.
So it's tough, really, it's really tough to study your degrees or doing your studies or working and also doing Islamic studies. It's really hard to find the time for both.
This documentary will track the steady reversal of this status quo and follow one young man on his first steps into studying Islam.
To be honest, I'm only in this course to better myself in Islam.
But will he be able to adapt?
Let's hope that I don't get judged by people.
Or are the teaching methods still too foreign and archaic for Western audiences? "19-year-old university student Maqsood Rashid has always wanted to study Islam at a deeper level.
Well, this is my first day of university. Alhamdulillah, very exciting. I'm studying diagnostic radiography. I used to go to college before. I studied biology, chemistry, psychology, and a few other A-levels. Very exciting, very nice. I'm really enjoying it, and I can see myself doing it as a future. The reason why I'd say I've become enthusiastic about seeking knowledge, especially in Islam, is because I remember when I was young, in year 7, year 8, my RE teacher, they teach me about Christianity, Islam, and I thought I knew all about Islam, the kalima, how to pray, how to do this. And he asked me this question, my teacher, he said, "Why are you a Muslim?" And that was one question that got to me. So this is why I decided to go into Islam more in depth. When I mean in depth, I mean by learning about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how he lived, by learning about Uthman, Ali radiallahu, all these Sahabas, by learning Islam for what it is, because Islam isn't only pray 5 times a day. I realized that when I opened up books, when I went into talks, when I went into doing Islamic courses.
In Islam, studying the religion from its sources holds a very high position. One of the greatest acts of worship in Islam is indeed to seek sacred knowledge, as was described by the Holy Prophet himself, peace be upon him.
If you want to learn how to drive a car, you need to seek knowledge about how it goes in order to practice that knowledge into life and to implement it. You would say that about every element of life. Whatever you want to do, you have to learn about it first in order to be able to implement. You would be able to ask yourself the same question if you want to learn more about life. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us and tells us in Quran al-Kareem that the main reason for our creation is to worship Him. The biggest question will be here, but what is that? What is worship? How can I worship? Which means, how can I live my life on the proper way, on the best way, in order to get most out of it? For that, I need to seek knowledge. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he said in a very well-known hadith, that seeking knowledge is an obligation for every Muslim. Why he said that? He meant by that in every foundation of life, knowledge is the pillar and is the essence of life. So in order to be able to live that life properly and on the best way and to get the best out of it, I need to seek knowledge.
This concept is so ingrained in the teachings of Islam that the majority of its most celebrated and famous figures of the past are scholars of religion and not its kings, rulers, artists and other such celebrities.
What I find very interesting when I think of imams and scholars who are from our civilization, when I think of somebody as Ibn Sina, for example, who was the founder of medical science, next to that he was specialized in Islamic knowledge and Islamic science as well. So he was a alim, a scholar, and in the meanwhile he explored in the medical science. Others like Ibn al-Khawarizmi, others like Ibn Rushd, who had one of the best books in fiqh and was as well a philosopher. So what you see here, the example of our scholars, they gave an example that seeking knowledge, when we talk about seeking religious knowledge, you don't do that only by itself because that's only you have to know from life. No, you have to be able to explore in all kind of knowledge. But the fundament or the foundation of any kind of knowledge is actually religious knowledge, because it gives you the opening and the space. And they were the most successful. Up to today, we refer to them.
However, this noble institution has during the past century faced decline, and studying Islamic knowledge became something of a novelty, serving mere symbolic purposes in most Muslim countries. After the rise of post-Enlightenment Western thought and the colonization of Muslim lands, many Muslims even adopted the idea that Islamic learning was redundant in the real world, and thus it became residualized to the point that only those unable to study any other sciences would be encouraged to attend the Islamic university.
From those days, people started looking at religious studies as something being backwards, not necessary, because what will it bring you? It will not bring you wealth, it will not bring you importance, it will not bring you that position in society. So therefore it became less important. And as well, of course, the colonizer and as well our own environment and communities made it less important. Still we have a lot of countries, like I mentioned Morocco, for example, where memorizing Quran al-Karim is something as an obligation, and you'll find the biggest number of Huffaz in those environments.
Even this residualized form of Islamic learning was hard to come by for those in the West. Despite the existence of some madrasa systems that were imported verbatim from the subcontinent and other parts of the Muslim world, they failed to make knowledge widespread, as many were taught by non-English speakers, as well as sometimes being only boarding based, which did not accommodate learning of other kinds along with Islamic learning.
Due to my personal faults of not being able to concentrate for too long, I just feel some courses don't give me that edge or that push or that momentum or that the drive. I go halfway. In the beginning it's quite exciting, and then it slowly dies down. So that's due to my personal shortcomings. Everyone's different, but personally I'm a bit like that. My memory span, or my when I concentrate, I can't concentrate for too long. The momentum always dies. I try to change that, inshallah.
But as with nature, after a withering winter comes a blossoming spring. So too has interest in Islamic learning seen a revival. To supply this interest, there have emerged in the West many institutions providing Islamic learning, some of which seek to accommodate modern lifestyles, as well as those individuals who have no previous background in Islamic learning. Al-Kawthar Institute is a key player in the reversal of this status quo, and one of its stated aims seems to be to cater Islamic knowledge for a wider audience. Maqsood has recently come across some of the courses and found the website's description of the courses to be exactly what he wants in an Islamic institute.
Yeah, most of their courses, it seems like they start from the beginning. They're actually advertising to everyone.
But despite his desire to learn more about Islam, he is anxious about how it will affect his university studies. His past experiences of attempting to study Islam at a deeper level still cause doubt as to whether Al-Kawthar courses will indeed prove to be different.
I went to other courses. I went to the courses that I was given out on leaflets. When I left the Jummah prayer, they would give leaflets, join this course, join that course. So I began to join courses. It did cost, some money. Others I went for free, the ones that were just open. But I went to these courses to, elevate my deen, to elevate my faith and my knowledge, especially my knowledge. Realizing how large Islam is, I knew that I had an insignificant amount of knowledge. So I began to go to courses because I said to a friend of mine, I said, these courses are good, I'm learning things, but I just don't see the application. I could talk to someone about it, but I don't see it changing me in the sense of becoming a better person, or changing me in the sense of becoming a better Muslim.
Maqsood's older brother is someone who has already experienced much of what he is going through now. So the two share thoughts about the upcoming course.
I'm just not sure, because it's a 7-hour course and I don't know if I can do it. So what do you think? Should I go for it?
Well, I personally think you should go for it. I think as this is your first time, there's always a first time for everything. And I believe you'll probably learn a lot from this experience. Naturally, you would expect for a young person, he's a little bit nervous. He's got a lot of fears in his mind, what he'll be expecting in going to the course. He is, of course, very conscious of the people that he's going to meet, and whether it's really going to be a waste of his time, to go there. This isn't, of course, something that young people nowadays do seek out knowledge. People are more interested in entertainment, games. Young people don't have or make a second thought in going into playing football with their friends. So seeking knowledge is something that's something that's probably nerve-wracking for him. But ultimately, I think he will do, once he gets himself into the course and goes to the course on the day, he will enjoy himself, and he will not regret the experience. And I'm pretty sure that he would want to go back as soon as another course is available. But what is it exactly that you're afraid of?
I don't know. It's because it's a 7-hour course. It's really long. I haven't been to one of them like that. I'm not quite sure how it's gonna be, but I'm not, because there's gonna be brothers there, and I've just started going to these courses. I'm not, I don't know a lot about Islam, but I'm just trying to get into it now. But the brothers that are there, I'm quite scared that they might judge me for being they might judge me as someone who's inferior, and I don't really want that to be the case. And it's a 7-hour course, it's going to be a really long course. I don't want to feel like an outsider or feel alienated by the people around me,
Well, I mean, you have to ask yourself why you're going there to begin with, and I'm very sure that everybody else who's going to this course are also probably thinking the same and asking the same questions to themselves. And really, ultimately, you're going there to seek knowledge, and with this knowledge, you're going to better yourself as a human being, as a Muslim. So if you can overcome these fears that you have and you get yourself to the course, I mean, 7 hours will really fly by. I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy yourself. I'm pretty sure the course will be delivered by a very charismatic and entertaining speaker, whoever the sheikh is that's going to give the talk. And you're going to enjoy yourself, and ultimately you're going to gain knowledge that you didn't have before. And with this knowledge, you're going to go away and better yourself as a human being. So my personal advice to you is to push yourself and overcome the fears that you have and get yourself to the course.